Hey, quick lesson on averages for you. Some of you have been taught this and remember some of it. Some of you remember all of it. Some of you, this is brand new. So basically, I want you to know there are three different types of averages. Okay, the averages are the mean. That's one type of average. Another type of average is the median, and the third type is the mode. Okay, and when you do averages, you'll find out that oftentimes when you're working with averages, something else comes into play. It's called the range. Okay, I want you to know that the range is important to know, but it's not an average. It's a number that helps explain what averages are and what they mean, okay? And sometimes potential problems with the average you're using, okay? So the range is not an average. The three main types of averages are the mean, median, mode. All right, let's go through those three, okay? First one is the mean, okay? And I want you to know that if someone just says, get the average, or the average is, they mean the mean. Okay, dad joke, warning. Okay, I mean it. Okay, when they just say the average, they usually mean the mean. I mean it. Sorry, can't resist. All right, the three steps in getting the mean are kind of simple. You add them up, you count them up, and divide. What does that mean? If you have five different numbers, you're going to add those five numbers. And then I just told you there were five numbers. That's how happens. You count the numbers that you added, right? There were five of them. And then you divide. Your total from those five numbers divided by five will be your mean, okay? Or the average, okay? Simple enough. The next type of average is the median, okay? And when you think to yourself, what word does median kind of sound like? Now, if you know what the median is, you're going to say it sounds like middle. Median doesn't sound like middle. It sounds like medium. Okay? And when you think medium, it's not large, it's not small, it's in the middle. And that's what the medium is. Okay? It's the middle number. All you got to do is put them in order and then pick that middle number. Okay? Now, step 2.5. What happens if you have four numbers? Or six numbers, or eight numbers? If you have an even number of numbers, you have two numbers in the middle. If there are two numbers in the middle, you need to get the middle of them. Sometimes that's easy. What's the middle between 8 and 10? 9. What's the middle between 20 and 30? 25. But sometimes it's hard to get the middle. It's hard to figure out what's the middle between 17 and 51. Right? Now it's a little harder, right? Well, here's the catch, or the wild card, the way to solve that. You get the mean of those two numbers. The mean of two numbers and the middle of two numbers, the median, are going to be the same. So again, back to 8 and 10. You already said it's 9. Okay, what's the mean of 8 and 10? Well, what do you do to get the mean again? You add them up, you count them up, and divide. What's 8 plus 10? 18. How many numbers did I add? 2. What's 18 divided by 2? What we thought, 9. Okay, so if you get stuck with two numbers in the middle, get the mean of those two numbers. Okay, otherwise median's easy. Put them in order, take the middle number. All right, the third type of average is called the mode. It's the one that you use the least likely, the least often. But the M and the O, notice I underline those two letters because that helps me remember what the mode is. Okay, always think that the mode, the M and the O, stand for the most often. Okay, all you're doing there is looking at all those numbers, and sometimes it helps put them in order, and you're trying to figure out, do any of the numbers happen more often than all the rest? Okay, and if one of the numbers happens more often than all the rest, that's the mode. However, if you can't find a number that happens more often than all the rest of the numbers, be careful. The most popular wrong answer for the mode, when that's the case, is 0. The mode is not 0, unless 0 happens more often than all the rest of the numbers. If you can't find a number that happens more often than all the rest, then the answer to the question of what's the mode is there is no mode. Okay, it's okay to say there's no mode if there's no mode. All right, all right. Last number we were talking about was the range. Okay, I always say the joke for the range. The range is not an average, and what else is the range not? It's not where the deer and antelope play. Okay, some of you are thinking, why is that funny? It's not. Well, dad joke and also old man joke. You have to know the song "Home on the Range," right? To get that joke. Back to math. Range. What is the range? It's not an average. All it is, it's the difference between the biggest number and smallest number. Okay, it tells you how spread out all those numbers are, right? Because if you're thinking what's the biggest number, what's the smallest, that's how far apart all those numbers are spread out, right? And all you do to get the range is you subtract the smallest number, the least, from the biggest number, the greatest. Okay, so you get the biggest number, get the smallest number, subtract the smallest from the biggest, and you have the range. And again, if the range is really big, then you know that those numbers are spread out a lot. And that kind of means that sometimes that you have one number that's really, really big, okay, which could lie about your average because it's way out there. The example I always use is me and three teachers get on an elevator and we're talking about how much money we make, and all of a sudden Bill Gates gets on the elevator. Well, if I got the mean average of the 5 people on the elevator, we get out the elevator walking real tall saying, yeah, our average income is over $1 billion, right? Well, that's not a good representation of really the average. So that average would kind of lie because that number is so far out there, okay? It lies about the average in a little bit, right? It's called an outlier. And when there's an outlier, you don't want to use the mean, or you want to throw that number out of the bunch and then get the mean, okay? But most of the time, if there's a potential for an outlier, they use the median, okay? Okay. The mean is the most popular. Median is probably second most popular. Mode doesn't get used that often, but you want to know what it is. It's easy to get, right? Remember the M and the O. All right. You now know how to get averages, right? Remember the three types? The mean, the median, the mode. Remember the range is something you calculate a lot when you're doing the averages, but it's not an average, okay? And it's not where the deer and antelope play. All right. Have fun with those averages. I think you get it now.